Our shoulders are amazing. They allow us to reach, lift, and swing with incredible freedom. This range of motion comes at a price: stability. Unlike other joints like the hip, the shoulder joint prioritizes mobility over rock-solid stability. This trade-off makes the shoulder susceptible to injury, especially in athletes and active individuals. Understanding the anatomy of the shoulder is the first step towards keeping it healthy and strong. The shoulder is a complex structure, not just a single joint. It's a ball and socket joint, where the round top of your arm bone fits into a shallow socket in your shoulder blade. This design allows for a wide range of motion, but sacrifices stability. Think of a golf ball on a tee. Lots of movement, but easily dislodged. That's where the rotator cuff comes in. The rotator cuff is a group of 4 muscles surrounding the shoulder joint. They act like dynamic ligaments, actively pulling the ball of the humerus into the socket, providing the stability the joint itself lacks. These muscles work together to control movement and prevent the shoulder from dislocating during activity. Without a strong and healthy rotator cuff, our shoulders would be vulnerable to injury. In the following sections, we'll delve deeper into each rotator cuff muscle, exploring their unique roles and common injuries. We'll also discuss preventive measures and simple exercises to keep your shoulders strong and mobile for years to come. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to injury prevention and recovery. The rotator cuff is like a team of specialists, each muscle with a specific job to keep your shoulder moving smoothly. Imagine them as skilled athletes working in perfect synchrony. We'll meet each team member, understand their role, and see how injuries can sideline them. First up is the supraspinatus, often considered the star player. It sits on top of the shoulder blade and helps lift your arm out to the side. Next, we have the infraspinatus and teres minor, working together to rotate your arm outward. Lastly, there's the subscapularis, located on the front of the shoulder blade, responsible for rotating your arm inward. Each rotator cuff muscle contributes to the overall stability and function of the shoulder. They work together to control the position of the arm bone, allowing for smooth, powerful movements. When one or more of these muscles are weak or injured, the entire team suffers, leading to pain, weakness, and limited range of motion. Understanding the individual roles of these muscles is crucial for identifying the source of shoulder pain and developing targeted rehabilitation programs. In the next few sections, we'll get up close and personal with each rotator cuff muscle, exploring their unique characteristics and common injuries. Let's meet the supraspinatus, the workhorse of the rotator cuff. It's the muscle that allows you to lift your arm away from your body, making it crucial for everyday activities like reaching for a high shelf or throwing a ball. It's also the most commonly injured rotator cuff muscle. The supraspinatus runs from the top of the shoulder blade to the top of the arm bone. Its primary function is to abduct the arm, meaning to move it away from the body. Think of raising your arm out to the side like you're signaling a touchdown. That's your supraspinatus in action. Unfortunately, the supraspinatus is prone to injury due to its location and the repetitive motions it often performs. The space between the top of the arm bone and the shoulder blade is narrow, and the supraspinatus tendon can get pinched or compressed, leading to inflammation and pain. This condition is known as shoulder impingement syndrome, a common cause of shoulder pain. Strengthening the supraspinatus is crucial for preventing shoulder injuries, especially in athletes involved in overhead sports like baseball, tennis, and volleyball. We'll discuss some effective exercises for strengthening the supraspinatus later on. Remember, a healthy supraspinatus is a happy supraspinatus. Next up, we have the infraspinatus and teres minor, 2 muscles working in tandem to rotate your arm outward. They're like the dynamic duo of the rotator cuff, providing stability and control during rotational movements. The infraspinatus is the larger of the 2 muscles, covering a significant portion of the back of the shoulder blade. It attaches to the back of the arm bone and works to rotate the arm externally. The teres minor, a smaller muscle located just below the infraspinatus, assists in this outward rotation. Together, the infraspinatus and teres minor are essential for activities that involve rotating the arm outward, such as throwing a ball, using a screwdriver, or reaching behind your back. Weakness or injury to these muscles can lead to difficulty with these movements and may contribute to shoulder instability. Strengthening the infraspinatus and teres minor is important for maintaining shoulder health and preventing injuries, especially in individuals who engage in repetitive rotational movements. We'll explore some exercises that target these muscles later on. Remember, a strong dynamic duo keeps your shoulders rotating smoothly. Finally, let's meet the subscapularis, the often overlooked member of the rotator cuff team. Located on the front of the shoulder blade, it's the only rotator cuff muscle that sits on the anterior side of the shoulder. The subscapularis is a large triangular muscle that originates on the front of the shoulder blade and attaches to the front of the arm bone. Its primary function is to internally rotate the arm, meaning to turn it inward. Think of scratching your back or reaching across your chest. That's your subscapularis in action. Despite its importance, the subscapularis often gets less attention than its counterparts. However, it plays a crucial role in shoulder stability, counterbalancing the outward rotation forces of the infraspinatus and teres minor. Weakness or injury to the subscapularis can disrupt this balance, leading to shoulder pain and dysfunction. Strengthening the subscapularis is essential for maintaining shoulder health, especially in individuals who perform overhead activities or repetitive rotational movements. We'll discuss some exercises that target this muscle in the upcoming sections. Remember, a strong subscapularis is a powerful defender against shoulder injuries. We've met the rotator cuff team, but even the best athletes can experience injuries. Rotator cuff injuries are common, affecting people of all ages and activity levels. Understanding these injuries is key to proper treatment and prevention. One common injury is rotator cuff tendinitis, which is inflammation of the tendons that connect the rotator cuff muscles to the bone. This inflammation can be caused by overuse, repetitive motions, or poor posture. Symptoms include pain, tenderness, and stiffness in the shoulder. Another common injury is a rotator cuff tear, which is a partial or complete tear in one or more of the rotator cuff tendons. Tears can occur suddenly from a fall or other injury, or they can develop gradually over time from repetitive motions or degeneration. Symptoms of a tear can range from mild pain to significant weakness and loss of function. Rotator cuff injuries can significantly impact daily life, making it difficult to perform simple tasks like reaching, lifting, or sleeping on the affected side. Early detection and treatment are crucial for preventing long-term complications and restoring shoulder function. In the next section, we'll discuss ways to prevent these injuries from happening in the first place. Now that we understand the mechanics and vulnerabilities of the rotator cuff, let's discuss ways to keep these muscles healthy and prevent injuries. Remember, prevention is always better than cure. One of the simplest yet most effective ways to prevent shoulder injuries is to maintain good posture. Slouching or hunching your shoulders can put extra stress on the rotator cuff muscles, increasing the risk of inflammation and tears. Be mindful of your posture throughout the day, whether you're sitting, standing, or walking. Another important preventive measure is to warm up properly before any activity that involves your shoulders. Cold muscles are more susceptible to injury, so it's crucial to prepare your shoulders for the demands of exercise or sports. Incorporate dynamic stretches that target the rotator cuff muscles, such as arm circles, cross-body arm stretches, and shoulder blade squeezes. Finally, listen to your body and don't push through pain. Pain is a signal that something is wrong, and ignoring it will only make the problem worse. If you experience shoulder pain, rest, ice the area, and consult a healthcare professional if needed. Remember, taking care of your shoulders is an investment in your long-term health and well-being. You don't need fancy equipment or a gym membership to strengthen your rotator cuff muscles. Here are a few simple exercises you can do at home to keep your shoulders healthy and strong. Wall slides. Stand facing a wall with your feet shoulder-width apart. Place your forearms against the wall, elbows bent at 90 degrees. Slowly slide your body down the wall until you feel a stretch in your shoulders, then push back up to the starting position. External rotations. Sit or stand with your elbow bent at 90 degrees and your upper arm close to your side. Hold a resistance band in your hand with your forearm parallel to the floor. Slowly rotate your forearm outward against the resistance of the band, then slowly return to the starting position. Internal rotations. This exercise is similar to external rotations, but you'll be rotating your forearm inward instead of outward. Remember to keep your elbow close to your side and move slowly and controlled. Perform these exercises 2 to 3 times per week, aiming for 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions each. As you get stronger, You can increase the resistance or the number of sets and repetitions. Remember to listen to your body and stop if you feel any pain. We've journeyed deep into the world of the shoulder, exploring its intricate anatomy and the crucial role of the rotator cuff. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to injury prevention and recovery. By understanding how your shoulder works, you're empowered to make informed decisions about your training and daily activities. You're better equipped to identify potential risk factors, modify your movements, and incorporate exercises that promote shoulder health. Remember, your body is incredibly resilient and adaptable. By listening to its signals, respecting its limits, and providing it with the care it needs, you can enjoy a lifetime of pain-free movement and continue pursuing the activities you love. Keep moving, keep exploring, and keep your shoulders strong.